afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are in the Friday evening world of Tottenham Hotspur. This is Thfc till I die, the home of Spurs past and looking like a pretty good future, we hope. So this is the pre-match game for the Bournemouth match tomorrow morning. Again, we've got one of these hateful 12:30 kickoffs, which isn't too bad for us, but anyone leaving in the West, living over in America, it's a hell of an early start for you guys. And anyway, we've got a bone to pick with Bournemouth tomorrow because, in my opinion, it was them beating us 3-2 last season near the end of the season at our place that cost us Europe. That and the Brentford match that we lost at home in the last match. So we're bone to pick with Bournemouth tomorrow. And funny, I was just thinking there, those two games we had against Bournemouth last season were remarkably similar. We beat them 3-2 down at their place with a last-minute goal, and they beat us 3-2 at our place with a last-minute goal. So should be goals in it tomorrow anyway. Anyway, Dermot will be along shortly. He's been delayed, I think, in traffic somewhere. And we'll just see who's in the chat on this actually beautiful Friday afternoon here. Even though it was raining 10 minutes ago, the sun is shining up here in the west of Ireland. So anyway, we've got Peter M. How's it going, Peter? A big up, everybody. Come on, you Spurs. And Wembley One is agreeing with me. He says, afternoon, everyone. Another one of these dreadful lunchtime kickoffs. It will be very interesting to see if Ange can get us up to playing at a higher level than we usually do for these. Yeah, I think we've had a couple of decent enough performances at lunchtime, but it's not a great time for a match. It's very unfair on the fans, that to get up so early to travel down. I know Bournemouth's not that far from London, but it's far enough. And at least we're lucky we're not playing someone like Newcastle at 12:30, which would be a real bummer to go up to. And this must be this Thfc like die fella keeps coming along every so often. I have to bar him. He's saying afternoon, everybody. And Greg Excellent is in the house. He's saying afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all well. Expecting a hatful of goals tomorrow. Two exciting attacking teams. Well, I don't know. I suppose most people saw the way Bournemouth started off against Liverpool last Saturday. They had the ball in the back of the net twice in 5 minutes. Okay, I know the first one was disallowed for a VAR decision, but they have got attacking potential. But I don't think they've won a match in the last 5. So their form is a little bit scratchy. So let's hope we can make hay with that tomorrow morning or tomorrow lunchtime when we play them. And Ruchi Toot is saying, big up all. Perhaps Ange will take everyone surfing in the morning to wake them up and get them going. Yeah. Yeah, well, no one our lot. Someone would go missing at sea for a couple of hours wouldn't be available for the match, Yeah, good idea, though. I'm sure there's some nice beaches around Bournemouth. And Luke Chapman is saying, Northampton Town rubbish. Emmanuel Mont defender. Yeah, I'm not quite getting the Northampton Town connection with Tottenham, but you're welcome, Luke. And keep the comments coming. We'll try and decipher them as they come in. And Wilton McDonald saying, good morning, Philip. Good morning, Wilton, down in Florida. Hope the weather is good down there. And there you are. He's on his way. He's on his way. And Andrew Gregory saying, good afternoon, Philip. How was the tribute night? Yeah, it wasn't so much a tribute night. The way I do it, I play in Dublin on a Tuesday night, and I'm in the house band. They'll be back, singer-songwriters. And actually tonight I'm heading down to Monaghan for a blues session. So that should be a bit of fun. It's about an hour's drive from here. So yeah, I'll get busy this week with the music, and I enjoy it. And Liam Hart is saying, good afternoon, people. And Carl Simpson. Hey, Carl. It's an afternoon, Philip, and everyone in the chat. And Liam Harty is also saying, two good structural teams. Yeah, well, let's hope that we're the better of the two tomorrow. I think a good win tomorrow because we're on the first of 3 away matches. We've got Bournemouth tomorrow in the league. We've got Fulham on Tuesday in the Carabao, and then we've got Burnley away after the international break. Now, that's going to be a tricky one because Burnley are never an easy ground to go to, especially under Vincent Kompany. So that's going to be a test. Bournemouth and Burnley away, the two Bs, get 6 points out of that, and I think we can go into the rest of the season very, very confident. And Peter Emerson, saying Bournemouth is a 2-hour train journey from London, so it's still a journey, especially weekend maintenance. Why is it? It's all every game I seem to go to, the Stansted Express or the Heathrow Express is on some sort of maintenance work at that weekend. It must be very, very annoying. Especially for fans who are traveling a good distance. I mean, let's face it, to get to that game tomorrow, you're going to leave London about 8 or half 8 in the morning to get down there. And Terry Wright saying, big up Philip and everyone in the chat. And Ian Ferguson is saying, hi Ian, is saying morning all. So Dermot is doing all the statistics for tomorrow's match when he gets in. So what I'm going to run through now is a few things Tottenham-wise that have cropped up in the last 24 hours. And I'll just go through them as we get them. Now, the first one, this probably won't go down very well with a lot of people, but it appears that Clement Longley may well be coming back to us on a I'm not sure if it's a loan or a permanent transfer, but Barcelona are so anxious to get him off their books because he's on the very, very high wages. He's not even in their squad this season. So they're trying to get him back to Tottenham on the low, probably on a loan basis. Now, I know a lot of people feel he's not fast enough. He wouldn't fit into the Ange way of doing things. I certainly think he's a good backup to have at the club. I certainly wouldn't think he's a starter, but he's certainly there as a good squad member. And he does appear to want to come to us, which is always a big thing. You know, we don't want players coming back to us that don't want to be here. He does appear to want us. So let us know in the chat what you think. If it's the usual routine, do you not want Longley or do you want Longley back? Because he's a divisive sort of a character. I personally think he's a decent player, but whether he's good enough for us now, I just do not know. And just go back to the comments here again. Andrew Gregory saying RMT train strike tomorrow. Oh God, lovely. I'm not up on the area of the trains in England, but does that actually affect the Bournemouth area, Andrew? Maybe you let me know. And anyway, to go back to another one, this is quite. I know we've been talking about this one for a while, but it appears that Gift Orban actually wants to come to Tottenham. And if Gift Orban wants to come to Tottenham, why aren't we getting him? Because it's the usual problem. It's the fee. Ghent have put a higher price on him than Daniel Levy values the player at, and obviously he won't pay the extra money. So unless there's a bit of compromise coming there, we're getting short now. We're less than a week away from the transfer window. 6 more days. That's all we've got. And it looks like a move may still take place. I get the feeling Spurs are going to be an absolutely manic in the transfer market over the last couple of days of this window. Mostly players going out because our squad is 31 players in our squad at the minute. All we can do is register 25 of them. So there's a lot of outcomings that have got to happen and happen soon. Now, we all know who we want to go. Whether that'll happen or not, well, we'll just have to wait and see, because I think some of them will definitely go. Hugo Lloris is in a very unusual position. He's turned down a move to Lazio, and now he stands to be under contract at Spurs for 1 more year, not even in the squad to play in the Premiership. Now, how sad is that, really? I think Hugo, he says he wants to go as first choice. And all I'll say to him, Hugo, you've been a great goalkeeper for us up to recently, but at 37 years of age, you think you're going in there as first choice? You want to get your bumps felt. You're getting a wee bit above yourself. You'd be lucky to get in there as a sort of stand-in or a deputy goalkeeper. And just go and get yourself a decent contract, but please move on, because you're going to be doing nothing at Tottenham. Not even getting the team. So that's that one with Ghent. And this one here, I'm absolutely disgusted with this. I am really, really annoyed that Spurs have lent out Alfie Devine to Port Vale for the rest of the season. They've lent him to a League One team. He's better than that. I would have hoped Alfie Devine was actually staying at the club to compete for a place in that attacking midfield role. But it appears now he's 19. I know he'll get more games at Port Vale than he would at Tottenham, but I think it would have been great for the lad to stay around Ange Postecoglou and get a few games under his belt in the cup competitions, because I watched him play for the under-21s against Newcastle there last weekend, and he was brilliant. And he's a real talent, and he's one for the future. So hopefully Port Vale will use him properly, because when I'm fed up with teams like Sunderland and Portsmouth and Preston taking our players on loan and then hardly bloody well playing them. I mean, Dean Scarlett at Portsmouth last year barely got a kick in the second half of the season. You know, which is not fair. You let players out so they get game time, not sitting on the bench or sitting out of the squad. So Port Vale have Alfie Devine playing 30 or 40 matches this season, though he'll have us to answer to. And we'll just go back to the comments again before we move on to the next bit of a subject. I'll just go back to... Oh, the chat is absolutely hopping here at the moment. No, sorry. My laptop is a little bit Now, here we go. Now, this is good news from Liam Harty. Apparently, Matters training today, but not sure if he will start. Lo Celso, hopefully. Yeah, I get the feeling Maddison may be on the bench. I think he's probably fit enough, but they probably won't take a risk. And I think Lo Celso needs a game to show what he can do. And he's also, there was reports during the week that he was mouthing off that he was, Ange had broken promises to him, that he promised him game time and hasn't got it yet. He's since denied that happened, but he has a reputation for being a little bit of a hothead in the dressing room. So maybe let's let him put his money where his mouth is tomorrow. Have a good game for us, and then we'll see whether he's going to be in the squad come the 1st of September, because Real Betis are supposed to be looking for him on loan. So if he starts tomorrow, I said that may well be the situation. He's going to stay with us rather than going on loan. But absolutely delighted that Maddison is not seriously hurt, because it was in that incident on Saturday just after Romero was brought down with no penalty. Someone did a block tackle on Maddison, and he bruised his foot, and that's where the boot and the crutches came from at the end of the match, which were purely precautionary. Absolutely right. And Ruchi too is saying, but we don't have room for players we want, let alone Longley. I've read that Ange don't want him. He can't do what Ange needs in a defender. Yeah, I know. He's not that pacey. He hasn't got the pace for a high back line. But anyway, we'll have to wait. Let's wait and trust the powers that be on that one. As I said, I want him in as a squad player, not as a regular starter in the first team, because I don't think that would be beneficial to anybody. Lisa saying, good morning, afternoon, Lisa from Mexico. I hope the weather is good over there. There's no more floods. And Liam Harty says, plus West Ham put in an offer for Auburn. Well, if there's any sense, if he goes to West Ham, I'll say we're just glad we didn't get him. But no, I think he wants to come to Tottenham, and why not? Peter Raym is saying Longley was once a promising defender, French international in Barca, who haven't really lived up to his promise. He's a better option than Dyer or Sanchez, but there it is. Yeah, that's about right. That's about it. It's a good squad player, not a starter, but being a squad player at Tottenham is better than being absolutely nowhere at Barcelona. He won't even be in the squad. So that's probably why he wants to go. He was rumoured to be going to join the exodus of players out to Saudi Arabia, but I don't think that's happened. I think he's turned that down now. And Derucci too is saying Ghent have to get their replacement for Auburn organised before releasing him, I heard, as well as still haggling over the price. Yeah, I did hear they had a guy lined up, all right, but you wouldn't know whether he's been signed or not. But they're going to haggle over the price, because when Tottenham come calling, the price goes up, especially if they know what we got for Harry Kane. And this is from Peter M. Does Lloris think he still got it? Needs to get real. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just going to knock my phone off here for a second, lads. Just hold on one second. I won't just answer it. Maybe the best thing to do. Right. Let me see. Who's next? Wembley one is saying, another really annoying thing is the fact that when you have players who actually want to come to the club like Auburn, or players who support the club like Alex Scott, it has no effect on Levy at all. Yeah, Alex Scott was always going to be a long shot there, I think, really. You know, I think, who would you rather have, Alex Scott or Maddison? I think we got the right guy there somehow. But you're right enough, it is annoying when players want to come. Auburn had to come. And whether it's the lack of the smaller bid from Tottenham is holding it up, or the fact that they haven't got a replacement in yet, or a bit of both. But hopefully between now and Thursday, we will get him in and see what he can do. Seeing if all the hype is true, or he's another guy like Vincent Janssen or Soldado that we bring in with great hopes, who absolutely did nothing for us. And Ruchi too saying, just checked, and the story is still out there that Ange is blocking Longley, and all the claims that he's still in the frame are coming from Spain. That's very true. But the Barcelona spin machine could be in action here, because they need to get rid of him. They do need to get rid of him. But if Ange doesn't want him, that's fine with me. You know, if he doesn't want him, he's got a reason. But I still think, though, if it's not Longley, we do need another centre back in, just to store things up a bit in case Mickey van der Ven or Romero get injured. Like, I know Sanchez played pretty well there against Brentford when he came on, but I think we all know we don't, like, Bambi on ice is not the real long-term answer. We just maybe need somebody else to come in and shore up that defence when needed. And Terry Wright is saying, I would have sold Lo Celso and given Devine the opportunity. Lo Celso will not be happy with a lack of game time. Yeah, that's true. I'm after saying that, Terry. And that's why I'm surprised that Devine has gone. I really would have. It looks to me if Devine has gone that Lo Celso is staying, because I think if Lo Celso was going, Devine would have been kept. As a Devine as a kind of a backup midfield player. But I'll be interested to see Lo Celso, because when he's good, he's very good. And unfortunately, it's mostly been for Argentina. And Flat Cap Pete is saying, "Hi, Flat Cap. Hi there. When is the book about Greaves and Gulzine out? Off down to London next Friday. Stay overnight. See the ABBA Revenge show. Good game with my second team, Derry, tonight. Come on, the Candy Strike." Yeah, I'm not quite sure when it's coming out, Pete. I know he's been looking for personal anecdotes from people that might have met Jimmy or had interactions with him. I sent in a couple to him. I don't know whether they're going to go in the book or not. But yeah, it's coming out soon. But once it does come out, Norman will be on here discussing it and also giving us the lowdown on what actually did really go on in the Spurs dressing room in the 60s when he was the wingman for Jimmy Greaves and Alan Gulzine's legendary drinking sessions. So that'll be great fun now when it does come on. We may have to pre-record it to edit it down a bit for fear of legal action afterwards. But anyway, we'll come to that when we get to it. So yeah, but you're playing Derry tonight. Yeah, poor old Derry lost 2 penalty shootouts in a week. I'll just explain that to Pete, the people that might know. Derry City were playing a team from Kazakhstan, I think, or Azerbaijan or somewhere in the conference last week, and they went to penalties. They lost the first game 1-0, and they won the second one 1-0. So they went to penalties. They lost the penalty shootout. Unfortunately, they lost it. Then they played an FAI Cup game on Sunday against St Patrick's Athletic. And what do you think? It's 0-0 at the end. Lost the penalty shootout again. So 2 penalty shootouts in a week gone. But they're still in with a shout. They're still running very well. They could possibly still win the title here. So come on, Derry. I think that I like Derry. I think anybody who's seen Derry girls will like Derry. Anyway, I'll go back to the banners again now and see what's what. Now we've done. Now this is we've probably discussed this already. Keep or sell Lo Celso. Who knows? If he plays tomorrow, he's got a chance to impress Ange and probably stay. But I get the feeling if a decent offer came in from Real Betis, he will probably be on the road. I don't think, unless he's changed his attitude, his dressing room temperament was a little bit suspect in the early days when he was here, and I think didn't go down too well with either Mourinho or Conte. So let's just see what's going to happen there. If I had to make a decision, I would say keep him, because there is a player in there who might just come out when we need him to. But it's not up to me, obviously. But I think we should possibly keep him, but with a proviso that don't be moaning if you don't get that much game time. Be glad you've got a job. And we'll just go back to the comments again here. Oh boy, the comments are really flying there. Sorry about this. I just want to get back there. Yeah, this is Terry Wright saying, "Big up, Rooty Toot. Happy Friday." And Scarlett needs a good loan spell this time, or another forgotten talent. Yeah, scored a good goal against Shakhtar Donetsk, the game I was at there a couple of weeks ago. Came on as a sub and scored pretty quickly. He's bulked up a lot. He's a lot heavier and a lot more muscular looking than he was. But like, he went to Portsmouth last season and didn't get a kick in the second half of the season. So he probably does need a good loan. But if we don't buy in another striker, we can't afford to loan him out. We need to keep him. If we sign Orban, Scarlett probably will go on loan. But if we don't, I can see him being kept in the squad, because we do need someone that can put the ball in the back of the net, even though he really hasn't been tested at the level that he's going to be playing at. And this is another one. Sure next week. Yeah, be a great signing if we got him. I haven't really read that much about him recently, but I think he'd be a good player. Oh, here's the missing link arriving now. I'll just carry on with the comments here till Dermot gets himself sorted out. And Wilton is saying we need to get players out, but their worth is not apparent. That's why they're still at the club. I think it's another thing. Daniel Levy doesn't like selling players for less than he thinks they're worth. He'll not sell too many players on at a bargain. And to me, the likes of Regulon and Tanganga, get a token price on, but just get them off the payroll and get our numbers down to manageable levels. Get our squad down to 25. So we'll have to see now what happens. But I do think we're going to be very busy between now and Thursday with the transfer window, and hopefully incomings as well as outgoings. And I just have one more banner to do, but before we get on to the stats. Now, we've already discussed this one, really. Is Maddison fit for Bournemouth? Yeah, it looks like he is. Whether he plays or not is another thing. He will probably, I'd say they might leave him on the bench and play Lo Celso, but we'll see what happens. But thank God the injury is not as bad as it looked like it was at the time when he walked away from the club in the boot. Anyway, welcome, Dermot.
Hello.
You found your way home. You found the house.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got lost.
I
got lost on the GPS.
Bring a GPS with you next time. Bring a GPS with you.
I will do. How are you?
Good. Yeah. I've done all the banners there, so we're just waiting on your deed. We haven't really gone through the match tomorrow yet. We'll leave that up to you now, and you arrive. So
this is where the match is. Of course, it's at Vitality Stadium tomorrow. Tomorrow half 12 kickoff here in the UK, 7:30 in the morning in Eastern time, and this for me is unreal. 4:30 in the morning, Philip, Pacific time.
Yeah, I know. I discussed that earlier. It's very hard on the American fans getting up at that time of the morning. It's great for the fans in Australia and Singapore and that. It's a perfectly lovely time for them at night. But poor old Yanks. Sorry about that, lads.
I've just seen what Carl Simpson's just put in the chat. Fucker.
Hang on, will we see?
He says, yeah, I'll let you read that one out.
Okay, Dermot, I'm glad you have finally got here. I knew the Guardian would let you go for streaking down Wexford High Street.
Fecker.
Oh, dear.
Now,
yeah. Got off with a caution again, did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Again.
You'll have to stop doing that. You'll have to stop doing that.
Look, it's a bit of fun.
Three times in the week is too much.
No. I'm going for the hat-trick. I get to keep the match ball now.
All right, okay.
The referee tomorrow's course is Tim Robinson. Never heard of him before. Must be a new referee.
Never heard of him.
And the VAR, your favourite person of the whole weekend is John Brooks. So you'll be keeping a close eye on Brooks there. Tomorrow for them. Yeah, anyway, this is the head-to-head for the last 5 games. Bournemouth with 2 wins, Tottenham with 2 wins, 1 draw. The last meeting, as you said earlier, was Tottenham 3-2 defeat, Philip, at home last season, which really put the nail in our coffin for European football this season. Yeah, I think that's where it went.
And the Brentford game. That and the Brentford game. They would do them.
Yeah.
It
did. It certainly did. The last 5 competitive games, Bournemouth, have had 3 defeats and 1 draw. 4 defeats and 1 draw the last 5. Tottenham have had 2 wins out of the last 3. Now we could be if we win or draw tomorrow, we're being beaten in 4. But the start of the Premier League, we've got a draw and a win. Bournemouth on an awful run, Philip. I mean, look at that: 4 defeats and 1 draw in the last 5. It's not very good, is it? Really, for a side, and it's a team really that we should be beaten quite convincingly.
Yeah, I was just saying earlier there, Don, before you come in there, that they started off like a train against Liverpool last week. Had the ball in the net twice, only one of them counted. But then Liverpool got the grips to them and actually pounded them for the rest of the match. So I'm hoping that they'll be they're at home tomorrow. They'll come at us, but I think our new game plan of possession-based football, I think we'll probably be okay tomorrow. I have no real worries about this game.
And if you look at us, Philip, won our last pre-season game, got a draw, and then a win. Course in the first 2 Premier League games.
The first W there is Leeds United, the last game of last season, I'd say.
Yeah.
The 4-1.
Yeah, the 4-1.
Harry got the 2 goals.
So, look, we're unbeaten in 3 games really in the Premier League. Draw, win tomorrow before, but it's a good start, though, by Bournemouth. We should be beating teams like this, really. We should be knocking 2 or 3 past them, to be fair.
Hopefully.
Now, if you are watching it tomorrow, of course, we're doing the watch long here. Of course, we're on here at 20 past 12 tomorrow. But if you are watching it, you can watch it on TNT Sports 1, TNT Sports Ultimate Discovery Plus, or the Discovery Plus app, which is good. If you're in the USA, it's NBCSports.com. and NBC Sports app and all the rest of them there. And of course, if you're in Canada, it's for Boo TV. So that's where you can watch it. Now, injury news, of course, Bentancur's out, type of injury, in knee injury. His status is out. Ryan Segerson as well. He's got the hamstring. He's out as well. James Maddison, as we know today, has now been declared fit. Now, Philip, he didn't train yesterday. He's only trained today. He only trained today now. They want to see how his reaction is with his ankle.
I'd say be on the bench.
I do you know what? I think, personally myself, I don't think he play tomorrow. I think they'll keep him because we've got an away game on Tuesday for the League Cup, and we've got a big game next weekend in the league. I think if he's on the...
It's on the week. Are we playing next weekend? Are we going to get next weekend, or is it the weekend?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the weekend after is the international break. That's right.
For me, I don't think he plays tomorrow. But look, we'll wait and see. Because he has got like Skippy there can come in. He's got either Basuma. He's got enough midfielders to cover James.
Richelso will come in instead of Maddison. I think.
I say so.
Yeah. There's 3 away games on the spot now. It's a bit unfair, 3 games in a week, all away.
Yeah, well, look, you can't choose who you get in the cups. You know that yourself.
Oh, true. Yeah, true enough. Yeah.
You can't. Brian Hill is out with a groin injury. So he's out as well. Now, this one, Philip, this is what I was telling you this morning when I spoke to you this morning. Tonge Dombele, type of injury on Pacific.
Unspecified.
Unspecified. Now, Philip, do you want to...
was a multitude.
Yeah, do you want to make a guess of what his injury could be?
I'd say he probably got a gherkin from his Big Mac stuck in his back of his throat. Either that or he choked on an onion.
Yeah.
God knows what it is. It couldn't be arsed to get out of bed in the morning, could be the one I could think of.
No.
It's got his handbag caught in the door of the team bus. And then he strangled himself. Almost.
But it is quite unreal though, isn't it? That
well, I'll tell you, on $200,000 a week, he should be ashamed of himself, in my opinion.
Yeah, he should be.
Not even trying to get in that team.
I'm just trying to look for something here very quickly, Philip, while I'm doing this. So let me put up then this is the team now that could be playing tomorrow now. It could be a slight change because of Maddison playing there, so it could come in for Maddison. Or we think, this is my thinking, that the Celso will come in for him. What do you think to that team there, Philip? And the why Son's in white because he's captain. So that's why I've done that.
No, that'd be okay with me. I think that'd be fine. Yeah, I think we're not going to change that midfield. I mean, the Sarr and Basuma midfield pairing against Man United was just superb. Romero and Van de Ven did very well at the back. Udogie, great. Yeah, Royale playing like a new player for us. Okay, the front 3 were better. Still not clicking fully. Well, they were better. And I can see the goals starting to flow there tomorrow from them.
Yeah. And again, Philip, would you start with Richarlison or would you put Sonny up there and try something different?
I'd stick with Richarlison. As I said, give him a chance. I give him until I lose faith in him. I keep playing him.
Now,
I think there is goals in him. He just needs to get something to kickstart his season. And
now, as you can see,
could be a good game to do it.
Yeah, and as you can see there, Philip, the back four's the same as it has been for the first 2 games for the third Premier League running, and including the goalkeeper.
Well, actually, no, it didn't. Didn't Porro play last week?
No,
Porro started against Manchester
United. Porro started, but
Royale came on, all right, but Porro started.
But
I think that was. I think away for slightly more defensive away from home. I think Royale will start tomorrow.
Yeah. Look, for me, Philip, we've got a good nucleus of a squad now. He did say in the press conference that some of the players that he's trying to shift that don't get shift will not be in the Premier League squad. Now, that's what Ange did. Pardon?
Hugo Lloris being one of them.
Yeah, Eric Dyer. Yeah, I know. I heard you. Eric Dyer, Dan Sanchez, Dombele. Players like that might not be. And that's the only way we're going to trim this squad down, Philip, because at the moment, we've got too big of a squad.
With 31, it needs to go down to 25. So not allowing for anybody coming in. We need to get rid of 6 players to keep the squad trimmed. And I think what's going to happen the weekend, we talk about contracts being cancelled. I can see it coming in 1 or 2 cases in the next few days.
I can.
Need them as a free agent to go and find their own club.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, we've been sponsored today again. Oh. Let me get this now. We are being sponsored by. If you want the mugshot done, go to this man. He will get it done for you.
I hope you got the money off him up front.
I did, yeah. I did, yeah. But there you go. That's who we've been sponsored. That's some picture, isn't it?
That's a credibility completely gone now. Completely gone.
Whose? Ours or his?
No, both. His gone for long ago, but ours now. He's a habit of doing that to people.
Yeah. I saw it there, Philip. I had to bring it up. I had to do it. I saw that last night. We've got Greg Selnett said he looks. It's a Satsuma with some thread stuck to it.
Who weighs 215 pounds? I think he mixed up pounds and kilos now, to be honest. But,
yeah. Liam Hardy says I think Solomon should start.
That might be coming down the line if Kulu doesn't perform tomorrow. I can see Solomon knocking on the door, getting in. Certainly can.
Yeah. Root 2 says, I really don't like Tooney's attitude. Remember when he was disrespectful to Brentford? He was arrogant in his interview too. We won't pay over 80 million for him, surely. Look, for me, he's not worth 80 million, Philip. For me,
he said he's going to a team plays in red. So that's either United or Arsenal. So
we know Man United are in from.
Yeah.
So let me see that, and then we've got Carl Simpson said Bournemouth have got so many. Yeah, they have got so many injuries, Philip. They really are. They're struggling with injuries. And look, for me, I think Bournemouth will struggle this year. But did they play well against Liverpool?
I have them down as one of the relegation teams.
Yeah. Don Belly's got a bloke with Tommy for eating too many Whoppers.
Yeah, that's it.
We've got Terry White. I think Levy needs to break the bank for Tooney in January. We need a proven Premier League goal scorer, and he would be great in the managed system. Andrew was asked that question today, Philip, and in his press conference, he did say that a like for Harry Kane is not essential in his system.
No, that's true.
Daddy. So, what do you think we need to look for? Somebody like a Kyogo, or would you think an Ivan Toney? Who would you go for?
Well, I mean, we're supposed to be going for Gift Orban, so if he comes in, that's the end of the story. But you can't replace the irreplaceable. You're not going to get 25, 30 goals a season from very few strikers. So Toney would be a good striker, all right. He would be a good striker, but as he said, he seems to have set his mind and going elsewhere. So I don't want him coming to us the sloppy seconds. If he doesn't go where he's wanted, let him stay in Brentford. Let him stay there.
Yeah. Ange said this from Route 2. Yeah, I did actually watch the press conference today. Actually, he said Ange said in the press that Manders is available and was fine to train, but hope the so starts. He and Richie had some good fights in pre-season. Look, Philip, it was a block tackle that gave him the bruised ankle. Dialli did it as a precaution, so there was nothing really specific there. But would you start Lo Celso and put Maddison on the bench and say bring him on with about half an hour to go?
I'd put him on the bench if he's not 100% fit or runs the risk of aggravating the injury. I'd put him on the bench and only use him if we need. Like if we're 3-0 up after an hour, no need to him. If we're struggling and Lo Celso's not doing the business, I'd rather see Maddison on the bench than sitting up in the stands watching the match, not coming on. But put him on the bench.
Yeah, we've got Tim Robinson has been promoted to the Premier League Revs group this season. Yeah, he's new. This is from you. Okay, this is from Carl Simpson. Philip, his address is john.brooks@var.com. Just in case you need it. Well, I'm sure Carly will get that. Who else we've got here now? We've got what else I got there? We've got Gary Becks. Big up, Gary. Rhythm is a dancer. Futu is the answer, but not to the window ends. Lo Celso in the mix, but not a deal breaker, apparently. Yeah, I haven't. I've been out of the mix today from what's happening, but I'm sure in the next probably couple of hours I will get more of the updates. and we will take it from there. We've got Peter M. Route 2. I was a bit put out as well. Yeah. Peter M says Trump's looks unhinged. Does it? Let's have another look. It does a little bit. Does look. Maybe Joe Lewis might get one of those mugshots as well. Lacey Crawford, it would be great for everyone involved if Fulham and Tottenham can make inwards towards Toussaint and Dyer and the cash still go through. I think that will happen. I think myself, Toussaint will head, Dyer will head to Fulham and Toussaint will head to us. I think that will happen very much. But we have to see. We're only another a week. So we're 9 days away. Hang on. We're 6 days away from the end of the window, so who knows? Who knows? Terry White, I admit that Tony is a pipe dream, but can't see the club spending 80 million. I don't think he's worth 80 million. I really do not think he's worth 80 million. I mean, he may be a proven Premier League scorer, but he's not worth 80 million. You're looking at 30, 40 or 50 million for him at the most, probably at stretch, but not 80 million whatsoever. Route 2 says, Peter M. Angie's hot on character and attitude as well as talent. Can't seem like Antonio. I agree. I don't think he will, but 80 million, that is ridiculous. Transfer price has gone up they've gone around the twist. Carl Simpson, don't want Ivan Toney. I agree with you, Carl. I don't either. He did the interview the other day, banged on about this while betting thing was his fault. And that's the thing. That is the thing. You look at players in the past that have got done with probably drink driving and stuff like this. They've always come back, but they've always come back with an attitude of, look, I made a mistake and I've paid my time, and that we have to see how he comes back from this. And I just don't, I agree with you. I think he is probably a bit too arrogant. We've got Ian S. Knowing that he's bet against his own team in the past, I couldn't trust Tony paying for us. Exactly. We've got Peter M. Tony should be advised to keep quiet. Yes, that's true. I'd be so happy if we do the Toast and Dyer swap deal. Look, I will look into that. I haven't heard anything today, so we will look into it. We really will. Carl says Trump is sponsored by the Liverpool sponsored per Matan. That's a good one. We've got Leslie Crawford. Tony will guarantee you 20 plus goals this season. Could take his game to another level at Tottenham. Well, let me ask you a question, guys. If you had a chance between Orban or Ivan Toney, who would you go for? Now, for me personally, I'll go for Orban because I don't like Ivan Toney. I don't trust him. Well, whatever. But let me know. Put in the chat, who do you think would work better? Ivan Toney or Orban? Now, for me personally, Orban. I don't want Ivan Toney anywhere near the club. And if Brentford are looking for 80 million, I mean, they couldn't even get 40 million for Raya. And he's gone now to Arsenal on a loan deal. And then if that works out, it's 20-something million. So, yeah, let's see. Carl Simpson says, every time he got booked or misses a goal, it would make me think what's going on. And that's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. And he's taken no responsibility for what he did. No responsibility whatsoever. Big up, me. I hope you're doing well. Big up and smash that damn like button. I know we've only got 15 likes. Come on, guys. We can do better than that. We've got SNS says Auburn. Mia said gift all day long. Gift, yeah. We've got Route 2. Football Insider has just reported that Spurs and Fulham are in talks about the Dyer Toussaint swap. Fingers crossed. I will get onto that as soon as I finish this stream. I will get into it straight away. If I hear anything and I know it's concrete and it's going to happen, I will come on straight away tonight. Would it be great to get Eric Dyer at the club? Also, after what Tony said, it's a nah for me. I agree with you, Mia. It's an absolute no for me. Auburn's younger and a higher ceiling. Yeah, exactly. Watkins would be a good guy, but Aston Villa don't need the money and I'm playing in Europe. Look, do you know what, Leslie? I said last season I wouldn't mind Watkins at the club. And a lot of people laughed at me. Look, it doesn't guarantee that Villa are going to be in Europe this season. We could get into the Champions League next season. So if we get into Europe or Europa League or Champions League, I think players like Watkins and that will want to come. To see what Angie's doing, they will want to come. But look, I like Watkins. Always have done. I thought he's a great player for Villa, and look, I love him at Tottenham. Peter M says, I'll go for Auburn right now as he's available. His backstory suggests a solid person. Tony is so overvalued. Yeah. I really don't know where they got 80 million from. Really don't know, because 80 million for me is that's scandalous. Route 2, we can get Auburn in without having to register him as well. He's under 21s. Yeah, and that's another point. We can get him in without registering him. So, get this deal done. We've got Ian S. Imagine we got to a cup final and Tony misses 97th minute penalty. We'd be all thinking, how much did that just make him? No thanks. Exactly. Absolutely. I think everyone's saying the same for me. Tony, Auburn, unproven outside Belgium. Tony, 100%. Auburn. Yeah, look, for me, again, it's what he said today, Leslie, and it's the betting thing. I'm not taking any responsibility for the mistake. As I said before, you back to when Tony Adams got done for drunk driving, sent to prison. You look at some of the players that have, Rio Ferdinand got banned for 8 months for missing the drugs test. They all took responsibility for their actions, and they all made sure when they did come back, they would fall into that same trap again. Ivan Toney, I don't think wants to take responsibility, and I think he would fall into the same trap again. And the 80 million for me is far too much. I'd rather go and buy Vlahovic if we're going to pay 80 million. And Philip, people may say he's a proven Premier League goal scorer. For me, he's not something I want at Tottenham. And that's me being honest.
None of his bringing his betting habits with him, I would take him, but I certainly would not pay anywhere near 80 million for him.
No.
Really, to be honest with you. Like, if anything, this suspension and his activity should have diminished his transfer fee. Because any club that takes him on is taking on a huge risk. What if he does it again? Old habits die hard. If you're a gambling addict, you don't give it up because they tell you to. That's why I'd be a bit of a worry on him now, to be honest with you.
Look, I don't want him anywhere near him. Gary Beck says, no chance in hell Spurs move for Tony. None, and never going to happen yet. I hope so. Carl says, Watkins is quality and he's got to... See, I said Watkins last season, Philip, and a few people laughed at me when I mentioned Watkins.
Another Brentford prodigy went to Villa, doing well at Villa. Yeah.
And I always said, if Villa...
we didn't need him at the time. We didn't need him.
No, but if Villa don't go into Europe and we do next season, we get into a Champions League or a Europa League, that might switch his head. Now,
depends how long he's left in his contract.
Yeah, that's true. Understand the not thinking Dyer is good enough, but what the F does the hate and vitriol towards him comes from? Some peeps need to look in the mirror. It's discussing how that guy is spoken about. Well, look, I'm going to tell you spot on why people are saying that, Gary. It's because he doesn't care. He laughed when somebody asked him about, Tottenham ever won a trophy. He laughed. That's the club we love. That is the club we all care about. And he can laugh about not winning the trophy. It means more to us.
It was a sarcastic laugh. He sure it wasn't a laugh. He was kind of laughing it off because he couldn't answer the question.
It's still you shouldn't, Philip. Don't be defending that. I'm sorry. I cannot stand players like that. Dombele's another one. They don't care. It means nothing to them. The shirt, the badge means bugger all to them.
I'll tell you one thing, Dom, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I had a chat with Norman Giller about this before, right? Now, Norman Giller would be a great friend of Eric Dyer's grandfather, Ted Croker. You know, Ted Croker, that was the chairman of the FA back in the day, right? He is completely of a different opinion to you, that Eric Dyer, if you cut his veins, he'd bleed Tottenham blood. That's what he reckons. So, that's his opinion. So I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm just passing on what I heard. Eric Dyer may not be the most favorite, but Eric Dyer is not liked at Tottenham mainly because of the mistakes he made. End of story. That's it. He makes too many mistakes. That's what's putting him down in the pecking order at Tottenham.
And that's the bit that gets me, Philip. He makes too many mistakes, and he doesn't take responsibility for his mistakes either.
How can you take responsibility for a mistake? Do you go out in the middle of the pitch and genuflect before the crowd at the end and say, "I'm sorry, I did that"? No player's ever done that in my lifetime. You make a mistake and you get on with it. You get on with it. But he has been quite rightly hammered for the mistakes he's made. But he's never going to come out and say. He might say after the game that was down to me. But he's never going to do it. He's never going to look for absolute from the fans. No player's ever done that.
I'm not. I've never been disrespectful to Dyer. I just get frustrated with his inconsistency. That's why I come from.
His performances aren't good enough. I'm agreeing with you. His performances aren't good enough. He makes too many mistakes. He's not good enough for the team, right? But that doesn't mean to say he doesn't care about Tottenham. He does care about Tottenham.
Yeah, but Philip, the point, I know we agree on the point, but I'm trying to say to Gary, where the hatred probably comes from, and look, some people do take it too far, and some of it is probably, some of it is not fair, and some of it is not right. But when you make a mistake like he did against Liverpool, when you see him on the pitch and he makes a blunder, and he starts pointing to other players and shouting at them, he should be saying, put his hand up. Okay, you see players doing that on the pitch, Philip. When they make a mistake, they hold their hands up. Okay, my fault.
Who's to say he hasn't done it? Have you actually watched him after making a mistake?
Yeah,
he's hardly going to be doing a jig. He's going to be gutted like the rest of us when he makes a mistake. All players are.
Yeah,
listen, his performances aren't good enough. Leave it at that. That's why he's not on the squad at the minute. He's not good enough for Tottenham. But he does care about the club. He's there for 10 years.
Do you think he could be not put into the Premier League teams that got to put in after the transfer window closes?
He won't be. No, he won't be. That's why he needs to go. He won't be in the squad. Ange more or less said that. He won't be in the squad.
Carl Sampson says, Ange could work with Gift as a young player and make him better than he already is. Easier to train a 20-year-old than a 28-year-old who thinks he knows.
That's a good point.
That's very true.
That's a good point.
Yeah. We're not laughing at you because you said Watkins did. Some of them did. Somebody in the chat, but I was, absolutely talking out of my. But Watkins is a very good player, and a good season for Villa last year. To be fair,
yeah.
Well, Milton McDonald, Tony's got too many baggage. He's out of football for 8 months. He's another. Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Root Toot says, I haven't seen any hate or vitriol towards Dyer. Some of us think he's delusional. Everyone I know thinks he's not good enough and doesn't care about the club. Well, as you say, Philip, Norman Geller.
Well, I agree with the first part. He's not good enough. But the second part, no, I can't take that. If he didn't care about the club, he would have been trying to get out of the club a long time ago. I think he does care. He probably realized his days are numbered. His days are numbered.
Yeah, but if you put it in this, Philip, he's on 85 grand a week. He's not going to get that anywhere else. So why would you want to move if you get 85 grand a week? Where, if you go to Fulham, you're only going to get, 25, 30 grand a week.
Yeah, but why would you want to move? If he waits till next summer, his contract's up, right? You'll always get a bit of better deal when you have a contract in place. He's going to be a free agent next summer. He'll not be able to negotiate that higher price. Plus the fact there is some chance that we might get some money for him if we sell in this window. Look, from that point of view,
which the Tucson deal could be. I haven't heard. I've been at the loop today, so I'm going to have a check up in the Tucson. We've got Mile High Hotspur.
Yeah, I think what's going on there. It's a bit confusing. What's going on there? Fulham still think they want Eric Dyer.
Yeah, big up my homies. They're just at Spurs for the paycheck. Some of them are. And look, Don Belle's one of them, Philip. You can't disagree with me with that.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean. Even seeing getting off the team bus, it's as if he's waiting for the next one. He's just so slow getting off it and wandering along there. Oh God, that maddens me.
Yeah, it does. That's rubbish. He laughed at the stupidity of the question. There are over 80 teams in the same boat. No one's asking them. Yeah, but look, everyone's entitled to their opinions, and that's what I like about it. Look, Gary doesn't agree with me, but Eric Dyer. Look, I have a different, slightly opinion to you, Philip, and what even Norman Geller. I would disagree with that, but look, football's opinions, and that's what football's built on, opinions. Peter M says the virtual against Dyer started from that viral video where he laughed about not winning the trophy. Also, too many unforced errors. Nothing puts fans off more than sloppy play.
Yeah, I think that's got us against him more than the laughing bit. It's what he does on the pitch is what we're judging him on, and that has not been good for a while now.
No. Ines says, I've not seen anyone hating on Dyer as a person outside football. I haven't actually. But mostly for the hate is just based on these errors and being, that exactly it is. Gary Becks probably agrees with you, and Norman Geller says Dyer has blue and nearly white blood despite not being good enough. And that's the last bit, Philip. He's not good enough.
You can still like the club and not be enough for it.
Do you think he's more championship level? Is he more championship level, Philip, or lower Premier League level?
Oh, I'd say he'll do a job. If he goes to Fulham, I think he'll do a good job for Fulham. I think he could be one of these players with a second lease of life. We might be very surprised how good he gets.
Yeah, Everton.
I think Everton would be if I was him, I'd go to Fulham, not Everton. There's too much work to do with Everton.
Yeah. We've got Bruto. It's not true. How can Dyer sit down and refuse to leave? He can. It's like,
well,
do you know what I saw?
We'll see what'll happen if an offer comes in for him.
I tell you what I saw today outside Tesco's and Gory, a Bayern Munich fan with Harry Kane on the back of his shirt. Honestly, and I went, okay, that's me done there. I was always that bit of Harry Kane, I'm done there. After seeing that, I'm done there. Did you see he got a new car yesterday? I found it of Audi.
I thought BMW supported BMW.
No, it's an Audi. It's an Audi car. Munich
is where BMWs are made.
Yeah, but Audi.
They supplied the cars. Oh, that's
it was an Audi.
Yeah,
he got he's got a company car there, and he's he want to see it. It's a big thing. Gary Beck says when Dyer goes public on YouTube and Twitter slagging the club, I'd be worried. I've seen too many YouTubers slag Spurs off, even agree with the Gooners slagging Spurs. Dyer's more Spurs than them, in fact. Look, I'm going to say something here now. Me and Philip will give what we think about the players, about the team, how they're playing, how their attitude is. We will always give our honest opinions. But I will never agree with an Arsenal fan saying Tottenham's crapper than Arsenal. Something I will never do. Philip's the same. Philip,
absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. I only saw about here downwards. It is in the top bit.
Yeah, no, sorry. My battery was running. I had to go and plug my laptop in there.
Yeah, but it's true though, isn't it, Philip? We will give our honest opinions. People may not agree with them. People may not like them, but we will give our honest opinions about the team.
But we would accept everybody else's.
But we will never agree with Gunnar slag that. Even agree with Gunnar slagging us. That's something we'll never do.
No chance. No chance. Who are they anyway? Who are the Gunners? Who are the Gunners?
Some South London club that came over to North London.
That screwed us out of promotion in 1919. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, they were the team that started the bribery. That all the good for us. Brown paper bags.
And they're the team that plays at the library. They play at a library, don't they? They play very quiet.
They do,
place, there's not much noise.
Yeah, and everyone that when there's a bit of noise, you see the fans going, shh.
That's right. Yeah, I just couldn't figure out who they were there for a minute.
I worked on that. I actually worked in that stadium for 3 years.
Well, I hope you had a shower every evening when you went home.
I tell you one thing. The funny thing, they had undercover security guards walking around that stadium, making sure there was no anti-Arsenal stuff being written on the wall. Right,
yeah. So haven't gone up yet.
No, and I actually went on the first day I was there. The foreman came up to me, right, and he said, "Who do you support?" I said, "I'm a Spurs fan." Do you know what? He didn't speak to me for a year. He was a big Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
He spoke to me when I got him out of trouble one Saturday night. We were doing the night shift, and all the lads went to the pub and got absolutely fucking hammered, and they were working near a railway line, and they were on top of a sort of a retaining wall, filling it in, and they backed the digger up, and they knocked down the junction box that ran the line. Right.
Lovely.
Of course, me and my other friend were the only two sober ones there, so we had to take the fall for it. So we came in Monday morning thinking, look, I was fuming. I was going in to give it to him straight. Handed me €1,000, told me to take a week off for taking the fall. He says, we won't forget this. Me and my mates sort of walked out Monday morning, $1,000 each in a paper bag, and says, right, have a week's off paid holiday. I went,
so let me get this right, David. You accepted a bribe from Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I'm just going to ring the FA now and report them.
Well, look, the fella that did it would have been in a lot of trouble. He got the sack eventually anyway. It all came out. But the foreman now he was a Galway fella, a lovely fella. Absolutely. He was a gentleman, but an alcoholic. So you would see him in the morning. You wouldn't see him at all for the rest of the day. And then you see him sort of staggering around at 5:30 in the evening. He used to bring the walkie-talkie to him to the pub. It was so funny. He really was. The day of 7-7, he was on the top of the gantry when everyone was going home, and he kept us there to 3 o'clock that day when 7-7 happened in London.
But the railway accident? No,
the bombings in London when King's Cross and the bus blew up.
That's what I mean. Sorry, King's Cross. Cross. Yeah, 7-7.
I walked down the Finsbury Park, Philip, and it's the most eeriest, freakiest feeling I've ever had in my life. The police were saying walk near the buildings. Not a bus, nothing was on the road. Talk about lockdowns. It was just freaky.
Yeah.
No, I'll never forget it as long as I live. Never do.
I missed the Dublin bombings by 30 seconds, so I know where you're coming from.
It actually ended up on my wedding anniversary, that thing, believe it or not.
That was a good excuse anyway.
Yeah.
Right. What have we got? You gone quiet, Dermot? Dermot, can you hear me?
I'm back now. Fans abuse their own players. Winks deserves. Sanchez doesn't deserve. Luis sort of does, but doesn't. Dele should never have got the abuse that he got, knowing what we know now. So I think we owe him an apology. Dyer deserves everything he gets if he makes cock-ups like he's cost us last season. And Davis, for me, I think he's turned around. Ben Davis, for me, I think he's... I can't hear you.
Ben Davis is a good squad.
Philip, I can't hear you.
I'm talking away. I'm not muted either.
Oh, dear.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, dear.
I couldn't hear you for a while, but I can. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I'll go back out.
Can you let us know who you can hear? Can you hear me and can you hear Philip? Oh, dear. Can Philip hear me? I can hear you. I can't hear you. I'm having this problem again.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll try this.
Philip, do you want to tell people what's happening with the podcast tomorrow? And then I'll come out. I'll log out and log back in again. So... Right. Can't hear Philip. Can't hear Philip now.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What press?
I don't know what's going on anyway. Listen, I'll go back over that again. We're talking about the podcast tomorrow. Okay, we're starting off tomorrow at 12:30, 20 past 12 with a watch along, the Bournemouth match. Then tomorrow evening around 8 o'clock, Dermot, thereabouts.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, yeah.
A podcast now. Again, part of the podcast will be to do with the Bournemouth match, obviously. We can't go. Hopefully, we're discussing a good win. But the rest of it will be to do with ownership of clubs in the Premiership, especially comparison between 1992 and now. How many clubs were locally owned back then? How many are owned now? The percentage of foreign ownership is staggering. It really is. So we'll be having a discussion on that and whether the FA's fitness to own rule is too lax, whether people that shouldn't be owning clubs are being allowed to own them. And you know which one I'm coming from there, which team I'm looking at there, or two teams I'm looking at there. So that's tomorrow. And anything else crops up in the meantime, that'll be the podcast. So it should be good. It'll be not all Spurs related, but it'll be give you a good insight of what's going on in the game that we all love.
Also, Philip, we are going to look into as well. We are going to discuss it. Something we have discussed is about the Saudi Pro League. Now, they've come out and said they want to be the biggest league within 24 months. They've also stated that they have been in talks to UEFA to join in like the Champions League and all that. So we will be discussing that. Philip, it's a subject that nobody wants to touch, but we're a bit of rebels on this channel, so we're going to touch it.
Well, it has to be looked at because, I mean, look at the standard of players they're signing up. Like, I think, Laporte has now joined up with Ronaldo at whatever club he played for in Saudi. There's a lot of, I see that Mo Salah now is the latest one that they want to get hold of. Liverpool, the same, there's been he's not for sale, but I'd say that could happen before the end of the season. Mo Salah is nothing if not mercenary. He'll go where the money is. And if the money's in Saudi Arabia, that's where he'll go.
Gary Beck says, not you, Dermot, Philip. I think it's about the Eric Dyer thing. But it's happened. I don't even have to tell you which channels because you're smart enough already to know Levy hate can blind everything. Yeah, but I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But look, Philip, I think it's a big thing because I think if you looked in 1992 very quickly, Philip, every Premier League team was owned by a Scottish or an English owner.
Yeah. And now it's down to two.
It's down to two, and we're one of them.
Yeah.
So
incredible.
And look, you've got Benzema who could be frozen out of his team when Nuno's in charge of. You've got Jota who's now been released.
Yeah.
I think, and then you got the Ronaldo, not with the what's his name? He played for PSG, the Brazilian. Neymar. 260 million a year, Philip. Look, and Andrew and Gary Beck says very quickly, the Saudi League thing will lead everyone to wish the Euro Super League happened. Mark my word, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah. And UEFA, go on, Philip. Sorry.
No, it's another comment. The UEFA will bend over for anyone if the price is right. Well, that's what I hope, that they change the habit of a lifetime and actually stand up to these people. Because if you allow the Saudi teams into the Champions League, they have got to be subject to exactly the same rules as the rest of the European clubs, which would disqualify them all anyway for the money they've spent in relation to the income they have coming in. So financial fair play would not be enforceable there, I don't think. I'm just hoping that... I think what will happen, the likes of Jota, I don't think will be an isolated incident. I think there's going to be players going to Saudi, lured by the money, without really researching what the lifestyles are like there, what they can do and what they can't do. And I can see maybe some players having a short enough stay there when they see that the grass is not always greener over there.
Do you agree with this comment here very quickly? And look, we're going to go in depth with this tomorrow, but I think this will be probably one of the questions, Philip. And the sword that will fight the Saudi League will be one Daniel Levy. Do you think, with all the criticism Levy gets, he could be one of the few chairmen to fight against this?
Possibly, yeah. Well, obviously, Daniel's like, I'm not bringing religion into this, but obviously Daniel's religion will be the polar opposite to what's going on in Saudi. So if there's ever a man that's going to be in the right position to stand up to them, he is the man, and it might be the saving of him. You know, if Daniel Levy was able to, although it's a big campaign for one man, he's going to need help. He's going to need other club chairmen to weigh in alongside him. He can't do it himself. But like we've all like him or love him, like him or hate him, you've got to admit Daniel Levy is good at what he does. And if there's anyone that could lead the fight, I think Gary's got it perfectly right there. He can't win himself, but he can certainly lead us.
No. Very quickly, Leslie said Romero and Son, the only two Spurs players I've heard turned offers down. Yeah, they did. And Son cut it down quite quickly.
Son definitely did. No uncertain terms.
And so did Romero as well, to be fair to him. And Gary Beck says he will protect Spurs as such, the Premier League. That's true. But look, that is the podcast. And we wanted to do something different. We've been talking about it, haven't we, Philip? We always do the week at Spurs. And yeah, it's great, but news sometimes dries up, and this is such a hot topic. And we know the players have gone there, Philip, and we know that the Premier League is worth billions. But, you know, we're also going to ask the question, has the Premier League been good or bad for football? Well, it's been good for the likes of B-Sky B and TNT and the football and the richer clubs. But I don't think the Premier League has been there to help the smaller clubs, the clubs that have gone out of existence, Philip, the clubs that have gone broke, the clubs that weren't helped by the pyramid system in England. That, for me, is broken. Because the money should be trickling down to grassroots, and it's not trickling down. And when you're looking over in Saudi Arabia, 260 million a year for a player. Can you imagine if a club in League Two gets that? A Morecambe or a Wrexham, they were bought out by millionaires, American actor millionaires. They were close to going out the wall. So we're going to discuss that tomorrow night. Of course, we've got the watch along. We're off on Sunday. Philip is on his holidays next week, so I'll be doing most of the shows solo. And then on Thursday, we're on from 8 o'clock until 12:30 with Deadline Day in the evening, where we're going to go over all the latest news, all the latest news, all the latest transfers. Will Spurs make anything? Will make any transfer deadlines? We will see. But there'll be people coming on joining me, and then of course Philip then is back. Then when are you back from your holiday?
Next Saturday, but I will be on during the week. I don't know where. If I've got Wi-Fi where I am, I'll be coming on. But I just can't. I don't know where I'm going to be. We're touring. We're going up to Donegal.
So there you go. But anyway, listen, guys, we are back tomorrow, of course, with the watch along at 12:30. Well, 12:15 will be on. We're then back on at 8 o'clock tomorrow night with the Cockerel Clock podcast. I think Dave might join us for that. I'm not sure. I think it might be just me or Philip, or I have to speak to Dave. But Philip, anything last to say before we go?
No. It's just looking forward to the match tomorrow. I think we're going to win it. I think it'll be another feather in Angie's bow that we're getting us playing the type of football that we want. And I would love to. Don't do it. I think you're going to.
Of course, we are sponsored today. Where's this picture? Go on, Philip. Who have been sponsored for today? Give them a big clap.
Sponsored by the Georgia jail, or this guy. You know, God, look at him. It looks like he lost a $5 and picked up £1.
Oh Lord! I tell you, I saw that. Did you see the people last night celebrating in the bar in America when that picture came up on CNN?
Celebrating? Jesus, how?
Yeah.
Oh, what I'd be doing.
But anyway, listen, we always finish with Fred. So, Philip, what's Fred up to today?
He just realised Donald Trump goes to the same barber as him, and he's threatened to get his hair done the same way. Wife is going to move after him someday. She just sits there looking at him all the time. Someday she's going to get up and actually do something.
Carl says that's his Tinder profile picture.
Yeah.
You can imagine looking at that. And we've got Wrestling Bray Wyatt of WWE fame. Yeah, I heard he passed away.
I don't know much about that, but I heard he died.
Yeah, it's 36, Philip. It's no age at all. Kev Williams, two legends, Dermatron and Phil Coyce. Big up. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, hit that description button. And also, please pick up your memberships and pick up your memberships and join. We've got a new competition starting on the first Saturday back to the Premier League. All new members. The original members, you're locked into the other competition, but a new competition for new members will be happening. So please get in there. Whatever you do, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Come on, you Spurs. In Big Ange we trust.